Welcome to the Aviation Pros Podcast, the go-to platform for professionals in the aviation industry. Powered by AviationPros.com, the leading source for comprehensive news, insights, and data on airport operations. Whether you're focused on airport management, improvement programs, ground handling, equipment, MRO, or FBO operations, we've got you covered with the expertise and resources you need to stay ahead.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Aviation Pros Podcast. I'm Emily Gorski, editor of Aircraft Maintenance Technology, and I'm here with Alfredo Garcia, Director of Sales and Business Development at ACI Jet. Today, we're diving into the importance of mentorship and career development for AMTs amid ongoing labor shortages, and exploring how mentorship and knowledge sharing can encourage new maintenance professionals to enter the field. Hi, Alfredo. How are you doing today?
Emily, good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. Really excited to share my story and hopefully, contribute to the industry more than I have in the past. So thank you so much for having me, Emily.
Of course. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to chat. And to get started, could you tell me a bit about your background in aircraft maintenance?
Absolutely. So I'm an AMT mechanic. I started my career in 1994 at a company that's no longer here, but it was called Garrett Aviation. I literally started washing parts and moved my way up from there to where I'm at now. So I started in 1994 and has been my dream career ever since.
I love that. I love to hear it. And so with washing parts as a pretty significant difference to Director of Sales and Business Development. So
Yes.
Could you tell me about what experiences in your career path kind of led you to the role you have now?
Absolutely. So this is a story I love sharing with everyone, not just people that are interested in getting into sales or customer service, but, I share my story that goes this way. Back in 1994, again, I was a parts washer at Garrett Aviation. I had my AMT certificate, and I was wondering when was I going to start working on airplanes or engines. And little did I know that my manager back then had a plan for me, and not just for me, but for everyone that was new to the industry. They wanted me to master, my hand-eye coordination, holding parts, being very confident but delicate with what I was doing. So I mastered washing parts, went into tearing down the 731 engine. I mastered that, went into sub-assembly, and then went to assembly, engine runs, all that great stuff. And so 6 years into it, I'm thinking, what else can I do in this industry? And I'm bilingual. My first language is Spanish. So at the Garrett LAX facility, there was a customer from Mexico that needed someone to, speak Spanish. So I went out to the chief pilot of a Challenger 601 that needed some translation. His English wasn't the greatest. So they said, Alfredo, go talk to this customer and let him know what the status of his airframe is. So I went out there and talking to him, he really didn't understand what I was saying. And I'm like, well, I'm speaking Spanish to this gentleman, and I don't understand why he doesn't understand me. So he flat out told me, Alfredo, you know what? I appreciate you, but I really don't understand what you're saying. I go, I'm talking Spanish. He goes, well, you're speaking Spanglish, right? Which is the combination of English, Spanish here in the Southwest, at least, where it kind of combine both languages and you make Spanglish. So I was embarrassed, but I told him, hey, how can I better my Spanish? And he just told me, hey, immerse yourself in Spanish and you'll get better. So I did that. And it took me a while to really master my Spanish. But long story short, I kind of fell in love with the customer service side of the industry. My technical background with, bettering my Spanish and even bettering my business English gave me some sense of inclusion into the industries to do more than just turn wrenches, but also to provide a sense of customer service that I didn't know I had. I was able to express it and use it. So after 6 years as an A&P mechanic working the engine shop, I was offered an opportunity to work in the inspection department as an inspection administrator. And, I really didn't know what an inspection administrator was. And it generally was revising the microfiche, revising the maintenance manuals, doing logbook entries, administrative stuff in the MRO. So, I thought I made a mistake, and I asked my boss, Ray Hartley, which was one of my first mentors in the industry. I said, Ray, I need to do more of this. Well, we'll focus on this and then we could do something else. I said, what can I do? Well, I'll teach you how to do logbook research, 135 conformities. Perfect. I got to that point and I was able to complete these logbook researches, 135 conformities. So my first customer that I was introduced to for a 135 conformity, I gave him his logbook report. And there were so many discrepancies, Emily, that the DOM was like, Alfredo, this was done on this date, this was done on that date. I was embarrassed because I wanted to be the professional, be the guy that knew everything. So, I was calm and the DOM knew I was new at this. So he took a calm approach as well. And we've uncovered my discrepancies and fixed them together, right? So, man, I found my calling. I love talking aviation to people. I love talking aviation to customers and all that great stuff. So I did that for 2 years, Emily. Unfortunately, after 2 years, I was laid off. But fortunately, I drove to the Cessna Citation Service Center in Long Beach, gave my resume, and I was hired on the spot to be a graveyard inspector. I had little kids, but that was the only thing I had, and I said, I'm going to take it. So being the graveyard inspector, I was the return to service inspector for NetJets. And I think back then it was EJM, Executive Jet Management, I believe. So I was faxing return to service paperwork to their headquarters, and I got to talk to their maintenance controllers, and it was just natural. And also, just discussing the discrepancies to maintenance controllers, I was able to learn more about the airplanes, right? So it made me a lot smarter about the citation product. And again, it gave me more confidence to speak to people I've never met before. So 9 months passes, I get recalled to Garrett as a customer service manager. And so I took the job and I was speaking with DOMs and aircraft managers every day. And I just continued to fall in love with that. Fast forward 2.5 years, I get laid off from Garrett, went back to Cessna as a graveyard inspector again. But my boss, another mentor of mine, Marvin Tumala, says, Alfredo, we have plans for you. We don't want you just to be an inspector. If that's what you want, that's okay. But I think you might fit in a role that we're going to open up here pretty soon as the sales supervisor for the service. And I'm like, I've never done sales. He goes, Alfredo, you don't think you have, but you have. So I applied for the job and I got it. And I did that for 9 years. And that's when I found my calling. And going back to your question, what experiences in your career path led you to your current role? Well, it was just talking to people, showing them or helping them. And that just created a passion for me that I haven't left since. And that's really being in sales. So I've been in the industry over 30 years now, and I've gotten to the point where I want to make a difference with the company I work for. Here with ACI, I've been given this tremendous opportunity to help the MRO grow, to be a mentor, to really just make a difference in the industry. And I've been very honored and blessed to have this opportunity with ACI.
That's such a great story. And I love how, like you said, you found your passion through, accessing that in all the different roles.
Yes.
Something else that stuck out to me was how when you were presented with the inspector role, you were not familiar with that position at first. Are there any other lesser known roles in aviation maintenance that you think younger people may be interested in, like if they had more publicity?
Please, Emily, there's so many. And right off the top of my head, gosh, there's at least seven. At least seven. I mean, you have an NDT technician, a composite technician, composite repair technician, interior specialist, aircraft record specialist, which is something I did, maintenance sales representative, which is something I'm doing now, director of aviation, director of maintenance, aircraft manager. Honestly, Emily, the list could be endless. It just depends what you want to do and what exposure you have. And more importantly, you follow your passion.
Thank you. And thinking about these younger people who are entering the field and how important mentorship is, how do you encourage and participate in mentorship for newer AMTs?
Join local and national BizAv associations. Share your story, engage with the younger generation, tell your story, but more importantly, listen to them and guide them.
Yes. And I also wanted to know if you have any kind of specific advice for the veteran AMTs who maybe have been in the career a long time, they know what they're doing, but it may seem like kind of a challenge to mentor now a younger technician. Do you have any advice for those people?
The last couple of years, I've been advocating reverse mentoring. A veteran AMT that might feel uncomfortable talking with the younger generation, find a younger AMT that maybe is new to the industry, maybe a couple of years in the industry, but have them reverse mentor you. Have them tell you their story, their challenges, their career goals. The veteran AMT, I really feel, needs to embrace the younger generation. I get a lot of pushback sometimes from our older AMTs because we see the younger generation as, oh, they're younger, they're softer, they're less experienced. But guess what? We started that way, right? The older generation saw us that way too. And at the end of the day, my generation created that younger generation, right? So we need to embrace that younger generation. We need them. We need to make this industry more passionate for them too, but it starts with us. So my biggest advice is just find a younger technician or even a student to mentor the veteran AMT to understand where they want to be in 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now.
Thank you. That's great. And for my last few questions, I wanted to kind of focus on how these things come into play at ACI Jet specifically. So can you tell me about what the hiring process is like at ACI Jet?
Absolutely. So I had to talk to our HR person, when I first interviewed, when I first applied, and the process was pretty cool. It was actually fun. They didn't just look at my resume. We started to have real talk about who we are and what ACI is doing. Since ACI is so big on culture, we usually do a quick intro call first, but the goal is always to get you here in person. And because I've been to SLO so many times because they were my customer, I was able to skip that. But traditionally, a new applicant, a strong candidate, we'd love to have them up in SLO. We want to give them a tour of our facility, meet the people that they might be working alongside, and even hang out over lunch or dinner. So it's important to us that they feel like they're the right fit for the team. But more importantly, we want them to embrace, understand our culture, and we want to understand and bring their culture into us as well. So overall is we want to meet that person in person, meet the facility, and also fall in love with the location, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect.
And I'm sure that's easy where you are in beautiful California. Yes, thank you. Very nice. And does ACI Jet have any kinds of initiatives or programs that focus on training or mentoring new maintenance professionals?
Yes, we're actually incredibly proud of the AMT program we've built with Cuesta College in town. We've already seen 2 cohorts graduate, with 2 more currently in the pipeline. We've even pushed that further by helping introduce the general portion of the curriculum into local high schools, which has given juniors and seniors a head start before they even hit the AMP program. And internally, we've mirrored that support with formal mentor programs as well. Every new hire is paired with an experienced tech who acts as their go-to for everything from company policy to our specific culture. You got that guy or gal that's new to the industry and new to the town. They might feel uncomfortable, right? So we want to bring them in and say, come on, I got you type of experience. The goal is to get them comfortable and train up so QC can grant their signatory authority within those first 90 days. From there, it's all about growth. We have a very clear path through tech levels 1, 2, and 3, and we even offer tuition reimbursement for anyone looking to keep their education going.
That's amazing. Very cool. And the last question I have for you kind of builds on that a little bit. I was curious if you have any sort of career development opportunities or initiatives at ACI Jet that are more thinking of like people who have been at the company who maybe like you are finding their passion in a little different area. How does ACI Jet support that?
Well, with every single employee, we have one-on-ones. And one of the things we do is we discuss building a career development plan that's unique to them or to us, right? So if we have a level 1 technician that might want to get into QC, okay, well, these are the steps to get us there. And as a leader, it's our responsibility to get them to that career path. Last thing we want is a technician or employee to be bored, right? We want them to get where they want to be. This industry is so wonderful and just has so many opportunities. And developing these career development plans is key to keeping them there and growing this industry.
Absolutely. And those were all of the big questions I had for you today. But is there anything else important that you'd like to share or get across to the audience?
Gosh, there's so many of them, but more importantly, I do want to encourage the veteran AMT, the veteran sales representative out there to continue to engage the industry, specifically with your local BizAv associations. And there's not one in your local area, create one. I've been successful with that. It's really helped me grow my career. My passion is still here, and I just love listening. More importantly, listening to the folks and helping this industry get better. So big word of advice is everyone get involved with your associations. You won't regret it.
Thank you, Alfredo. That's a great message to end on. And thank you so much again for being here today and for speaking with me. This has been really great.
Well, Emily, thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege definitely to be on your podcast. I can't wait to do this again.
Thanks for tuning in to the Aviation Pros Podcast, produced by Endeavor Business Media, a division of Endeavor B2B. Stay ahead in airport operations and leadership by subscribing to our Airport Business Daily newsletter and our monthly Airport Business Insider newsletter, only available to key decision makers in aviation. And don't forget to explore even more at AviationPros.com, the home of exclusive content for aviation professionals like yourself. I'm Joe Petrie. We'll catch you next time.